Obviously, I'm a Yankees fan, so I'd love to see him.
It's almost like legacy of like the NFL versus.
But I definitely think that Baker could be a really good player for the Panthers moving forward.
Did I say Oreos?
There's a lot of questions I have about Mahomes. Looks like a kid playing Madden.
Turning point in the game is the 13-second drive.
They play very hard, even though they're terrible.
He's a good pick. For sure. He's going to be a good player. But I can't argue against the Jamar Chase pick.
They made moves saying we're going to win this year, at least get into the playoffs.
I'm going with my guy, Corey Seager. So glad.
What's good, y'all? My name's Austin Drummond, and I play rugby for the University of Notre Dame. And you're listening to The Outsider's Opinion with Austin and Kevin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our NFL Opinions of the Week. A lot of stuff is happening in the NFL, and it's a good time of year. And now we have the Divisional Round games. We kind of talked a little bit about them earlier this week after reviewing the wild card, which was disappointing. But the news, of course, we're going to predict here as well, but this does not count towards our predictions because this is kind of like the old format, but no points here, Austin.
Yeah, it is like the old format, and it doesn't hurt to go back sometimes and make some predictions. This does not impact our actual playoff predictions. The winner of that will be separate from this. This is just more for fun and more to see who we think will win these games.
Yeah, and it's always fun because I was talking to someone. They have different views of me with the Lions. They think they kind of need to learn more and get used to what it is because they got good so fast. I kind of disagree with that, but I do think if we want to start there with the Lions, I mentioned it before, just Jordan Montgomery being back.
Not Jordan Montgomery, David Montgomery.
Oh yeah, David Montgomery. I combine.
No, you
yeah,
didn't
I'm
combine
thinking of
anyone. You
baseball,
just
yeah.
said the baseball pitcher.
Yeah, I know. Well, I was mixing sports. I was like, there's a Jordan Montgomery, but baseball, yeah. So that's gonna be a night game, and this really comes down to I think Jane Daniels. I think for the Commanders because I've kind of hated on the Commanders defense, and I am biased because Dan Quinn, well, he is a great defensive mind, and the defense for the Commanders has been incredible this year. I do think their weakness is the run game. I do think for that Dan Campbell Falcons, that changed for the Patriots, while of course it was Tom Brady as well. I think they went more heavy run game in 12 personnel, right?
You talking about the Patriots?
Yeah. When they were facing the Falcons defense in the Super Bowl 28-3. I thought that was one of the big changes. Was they're like we went to 12 personnel and started running play action.
Yeah, I don't think they ran the ball all that much because of how much they were down, but they did run a fair amount of tight end looks, and that's without Gronk. Gronk was out that game.
Mm-hmm. And I kind of bring that up just because I do think with how Dan Quinn is his defenses can sometimes just get bullied, and I think that's what I view this Dan Campbell team as is just like while they do have great skill players, Jared Goff is incredible, Amon-Ra St. Brown, jeez, I'm all over the place today, but I do think they just go out and they will be physical number one. So that's to me why I see the Lions beating the Commanders.
Yeah, I definitely am higher on the Commanders than you, but I don't really buy into the Lions need more experience. So we've seen a lot of teams that don't need that much experience to go on a playoff run. And I do think the fact that Jared Goff has played in the Super Bowl, and there's other players on this offense that have gone far in the playoffs. I do think the Lions will end up winning this game. I do think it's probably going to be closer than what you believe. I mean, the game, I think it's going to come down to a couple plays here and there. It's really going to come down to what can Daniels do to punish this Lions depleted defense.
Yeah, and to talk, I agree with you. They already have experience. You mentioned Jared Goff, but also this was a team that was in the NFC Championship game, had a sizable lead against the Niners, and they lost. But that's pretty incredible for what they did. And so, yeah, I do. I think for the Commanders, it's really going to rely on Jaden Daniels, as you were talking about. And it is, I'm really interested to see what Terry McLaurin does. And Brown, the other wide receiver, he was good against the Bucks, but I think it's going to be the pass game because that is where the Lions struggle on defense. So it should be fun, but I do think the Lions are just going to ground and pound their way to a win. So we both have Lions, though, correct?
Yes.
All right. Now we'll go to the game before. I love this bit with the Texans always playing at 3:30 on Saturday.
Yeah, it's definitely it's their holiday. It just seemed like they always play the early games, and I don't know if that'll ever change, but we'll see what they can do.
Yeah, and as I mentioned before, we started recording. Joe Tooney is moving to left tackle for the Chiefs. They have struggled with tackle, especially on the left side, and I understand the move and it has worked for him, but I think that just speaks to the pass rush for the Texans, and I do think the Chiefs win just because the Chiefs are the Chiefs, and they just kind of, we talked about experience. They have that experience, but pass rush, we've seen what a pass rush can do to the Chiefs offense, and even a better offense going back to the Super Bowl with the Bucks.
Yeah, I do think the Chiefs end up winning this game. I think the Texans are a team that still has a lot to learn, but also the Chiefs defense is just suffocating. And if the Texans team was a little bit more healthy, maybe I would consider them a little bit more. But the Chiefs have a great roster, and while they haven't had the greatest season dominance-wise, they still are winning a lot of games.
Yeah, and talking about the Chiefs defense, it also just seems the Texans offense, injuries, of course, play a factor, but it just seems like they're not in rhythm this entire season. And that's, if they had a better offense, I think it could work. Just because I think it's going to be a low scoring game for sure. But okay, so we're in agreement on Saturday, Chiefs and Lions. I'll let you choose the one of the Sunday games.
Let's go Ravens Bills. I think this is probably the hardest game to predict, the most even game that is still here. And we already did a video regarding who is the most to lose in this divisional round, and we both agreed that it has to be one of these two. And the loser of this game will be the biggest loser of the divisional round. And it's going to be a dogfight. It's going to be in Buffalo. It's going to be cold like it always is. And the winner of this game will be relieved, to say the least, because this is a tough opponent for either of them. And I'm interested to see who you think's going to win the game.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Lamar Jackson, and I am a fan of Josh Allen, but I just love Lamar and just kind of what he does and how this Ravens team has played. So of course we talked to quarterbacks. I do think they're the number one reason their team win. But what's a player, or you can mention what's something that's the second most important thing for these teams for if they're going to win?
I'd say turnovers. If you remember last year in the AFC Championship game, the Ravens had very big turnovers. Costly turnovers by Zay Flowers, by Lamar. And it's kind of been Josh Allen's MO before this season to be turnover happy. I think the team that turnovers the ball less, if there is a team that turns over the ball less, I think that team wins the game.
Okay, yeah. And then that's a great point. And another thing I want to focus on for this game is also the running backs. You have Derrick Henry for the Ravens, but also James Cook, I think, has been key. Remember, I don't know if we've talked about James Cook a little bit, right? And just kind of how this run game has helped this Bills offense and specifically Josh Allen.
Yeah, we have. He's not on the level that obviously Derrick Henry is, but his role is important, and the ability for Josh Allen and him to both run the ball is a big key to their success.
Yeah. Derrick Henry, of course, is the better running back, but I do think whoever can help their quarterback more will impact and most likely lead to that team winning because it takes pressure off their quarterback, who can handle the pressure, but pressures sometimes just doesn't work. And if you're making Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson throw the ball 50 times, and kind of talking about that Chiefs loss to the Ravens. They just kept throwing the ball instead of running it and being who they were. That can be difficult. I really want the Ravens to win, but I don't know. I just feel like the Bills are going to win somehow. And I am maybe concerned about Tom Munkin getting away from himself, because while the Ravens can score fast, and they did with just their running ability, I do think the Bills have that ability to just unleash the deep ball with a pretty good wide receiving core.
Yeah, I do think that the Bills will end up winning this game. I think it's important to realize that the home team does have some sort of advantage, and I don't think Josh Allen will lose 3 straight uh, playoffs at home. I think that if he does lose in these playoffs, they'll either be in the Super Bowl or on the road in Kansas City. But this is a big game for their careers, and this will be defining of their matchups forever, because they're in the same draft class. They're always going to be tied together because of that, and I'm excited to see who comes out on top.
Yeah, this, I think, easily is going to be the most anticipated game and probably the best. What are your thoughts on the Rams Eagles?
This is they went to back Super Bowls, right? The Rams went to the Super Bowl, and then the Eagles went to the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Back years. Yeah. So they both have experience. They have guys who've won Super Bowls on the roster. Health is important. Whoever comes into this game a little bit more healthy than the other is going to have some sort of advantage. But this game's going to come down to the running back matchup, in my opinion, between Kyron and Saquon. I think the matchup's a little bit closer than people realize. The Eagles do have a good run defense, though. It's their secondary that's poor. And Cooper Kupp struggled throughout the regular season. He struggled a lot this year with injuries and everything else. Can he get going against this Philadelphia secondary and give the Rams some life?
Ooh, I like how you focus on the running backs. Of course, the Eagles get a lot of talk with their running back, but yeah, Kyron Williams has been good, and it will help their quarterbacks. I kind of go to, which you could argue is the byproduct of the running game, is Matthew Stafford versus Jalen Hurts. Um, we have debated about Matthew Stafford and just kind of his run with that Rams Super Bowl win, and before, when he was turning over the ball. Can he make the right plays, which I think he's capable of doing, but this is a tough defense to do it against. Can he make the right throws? Because that's what I think it's going to come down to. Because you talk about the great run defense from the Eagles, and then same thing with the Jalen Hurts. And who has the better weapon at wide receiver, Eagles or Rams?
I would definitely say Rams.
Yeah.
While it is close, I do think it's Rams.
Yeah, I do think it is Rams as well, but it is close because you have A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert is also pretty good, and that that run after the catch was pretty incredible against the Packers. But I do think that's going to unlock their offense for the Eagles if they can get the passing game going. I don't see that happening, and this may just be because I do not like the Eagles. I think the Rams win this one.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I do have tough. Do the Rams end up winning this game? I definitely could see it, but I'll go with the Eagles. I think that the Eagles are going to have just enough to end up beating them.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that, and man, I do think I just want to know what this Rams defense is interesting to me, because I keep forgetting. Like, I don't expect to see Aaron Donald, but I'm like, oh yeah, this is a Rams defense that who really is the star player on this Rams defense?
Probably Jared Verse, the rookie end.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, and he is the lead, but to me it's just a collection of good defenders and scheme. As yeah, this is the first year under a new Rams defensive coordinator, because Raheem Morris was the defensive coordinator last year. So And if you Google it right now, it still says Raheem Morris is the defensive coordinator. But Chris Shula is actually the defensive coordinator. So can this defense step up? Because I do think you need those star players for defense in the postseason. But we'll have to see. Any final thoughts, and I'll let you close this one out.
Yeah, thank you guys for listening. Please let us know what you guys think about this divisional round, who will win, and who will come into the playoffs with a higher peak. Thank you.